There is a connection that the world's most successful wealth builders have understood for centuries, that modern financial education has never once mentioned, not in business schools, not in investment courses, not in the thousands of books published every year on how to build financial success. The connection between a man's vital energy and his capacity to build wealth, not as a spiritual concept, not as a motivational metaphor, as a documented biological reality with a specific mechanism, a specific hormonal and neurological profile, and a specific set of observable outcomes that any man can produce by making one fundamental change in how he manages his most powerful biological resource. Today, we cover the science, the biology, the history, the mechanism, and the practical application. If you are new here, subscribe. We release new content every week on masculine energy, discipline, and personal power. Now, let us get into it. The connection most financial education ignores. Ask any financial educator what drives wealth creation, and you will hear about strategy, about compound interest, about asset allocation, about the right vehicle for the right goal at the right time in the market cycle. All of these things matter. None of them address the most fundamental question. What determines whether a man has the drive, focus, creativity, and sustained ambition to execute any strategy at the level required to produce extraordinary financial results? Not adequate results. Extraordinary ones. The answer is not strategy. The answer is the biological environment from which the man is operating. Specifically, the hormonal and neurological profile that determines the quality of his focus, the intensity of his drive, the creativity of his problem-solving, and the resilience of his ambition when the inevitable obstacles arrive. And that profile, more than any strategy, vehicle, or market condition, is determined by what a man does with his vital energy every day, the biological mechanism. What actually happens inside the body of a man who conserves his vital energy rather than depleting it daily? 3 specific things. First, testosterone. Research on men who abstain from depletion documents a measurable increase in circulating testosterone levels, peaking around day 7 of conservation and maintaining significantly elevated levels through weeks 3 and 4 of consistent practice. Testosterone is not just the hormone of physical strength. It is the hormone of drive, of ambition, of risk tolerance, of the willingness to pursue a difficult goal in the face of resistance rather than settling for the easier path. The man with elevated testosterone does not need external motivation to pursue his financial goals. The drive is internal, biological, present whether or not the environment is supporting him. Second, dopamine sensitivity. The depletion cycle produces a predictable effect on the brain's dopamine system. Each cycle of arousal and discharge triggers a dopamine release, followed by a period of reduced dopamine sensitivity. The man in a constant depletion cycle is operating with a chronically desensitized dopamine system. He requires more stimulation to feel motivated, more novelty to feel engaged, more external reward to maintain the drive toward long-term goals that do not produce immediate gratification. This is why building wealth, which requires sustained effort toward outcomes that may be months or years away, is so difficult for most men. Their dopamine system has been conditioned by the depletion cycle to expect immediate reward. Long-term wealth building does not provide immediate reward, and the desensitized system loses interest. The man who conserves and allows his dopamine system to reset and resensitize experiences something different. The work itself becomes engaging. The incremental progress toward a long-term goal produces genuine motivation, not because the goal is closer, but because the system is now sensitive enough to register and respond to the smaller rewards embedded in the process itself. The discipline, the craft, the compounding. These become intrinsically motivating rather than requiring constant external stimulation to maintain. Third, neurological resources. The body's production of vital energy is metabolically expensive. The compounds involved, zinc, selenium, proteins, hormones, require significant biological investment to produce. When they are conserved, those biological resources remain, available for the neurological functions that drive exceptional performance, sustained concentration, creative problem-solving, pattern recognition, the ability to hold complex financial and business models in working memory and manipulate them with precision. The depleted man is performing these functions with a reduced resource base. He is capable, but operating at a fraction of what his biology can produce when the resource is conserved and available. 3 mechanisms: testosterone, the drive; dopamine, the motivation; neurological resources, the capacity. All 3 elevated through conservation, all 3 diminished through depletion. Every day. The historical evidence. This is not a new discovery. The connection between vital energy and wealth-creating capacity has been documented across centuries and civilizations by men who observed it long before the biochemistry existed to explain it. Napoleon Hill spent 20 years studying 500 of the most successful men in America. His conclusion, documented in the chapter Most Modern Editions Removed, was unambiguous. Without exception, every man of extraordinary financial achievement he studied possessed and deliberately managed what Hill called an unusually high degree of creative vital energy, not intelligence, not strategy, not superior opportunity. Creative vital energy, conserved and redirected toward the financial mission. Tesla, whose vital energy conservation across a 50-year career produced 300 patents, and the modern electrical grid, documented the same observation in his own journals. The Taoist masters of ancient China built entire systems around the conservation of Jing, the vital essence, not as a spiritual practice, but as the deliberate management of the resource they observed to be the foundation of all significant achievement. The Brahmacharya tradition of ancient India documented the same connection. Ojas, the vital force, conserved and cultivated as the foundation of intellectual, creative, and material achievement. Different cultures, different centuries, different languages and frameworks. One consistent observation: the man who conserves and directs his vital energy produces at a level the depleted man cannot access. The neurological case. Modern neuroscience has given us the language the ancient observers did not have. But the observation they were documenting is now measurable in the laboratory. The hormonal profile of the conserved man, elevated testosterone, resensitized dopamine system, full neurological resource base, is the exact profile that cognitive science identifies as optimal for executive function, the ability to plan, prioritize, and execute complex multi-step processes over extended time horizons. Creative cognition, the ability to generate novel connections between existing ideas, producing the business insights, product innovations, and strategic breakthroughs that create extraordinary financial outcomes. Sustained motivation, the ability to maintain drive toward long-term goals without requiring constant external stimulation, the single most reliable predictor of extraordinary financial results identified in the research on high achievers. This is not the profile of luck. This is not the profile of talent. This is the profile of biology, operating at the level it was designed to operate at, when managed correctly. And it is available to any man who makes the decision to manage it correctly. The practical application. The science points to one conclusion. The most leveraged investment a man can make in his financial future is not a stock, not a course, not a mentor or a mastermind. It is the deliberate conservation and direction of his vital energy. Because every other investment, in strategy, in skill, in network, produces results in proportion to the quality of the biological environment from which the man is operating. Better strategy in a depleted man produces better than average results. The same strategy in a conserved man produces extraordinary results. Because the conserved man executes differently. He focuses differently. He persists differently. He creates differently. He leads differently. The strategy is the same. The man is not. Start with 30 days. 30 days of deliberate conservation. 30 days of allowing the testosterone to elevate, the dopamine system to resensitize, the neurological resources to accumulate. Then apply whatever strategy you are already working with and compare the quality of your execution to what it was before. The difference will be the evidence. If what I just shared resonates with you, the Foundation membership is the structured application of everything covered in this video. 6 complete audio systems built around this one biological reality. The Discipline Foundation System, the Energy Mastery Basics, the Focus and Presence Protocol, the Purpose Discovery Framework, the Morning Power Rituals, and the Advanced Energy Redirection System, the system that takes the biological mechanism covered in this video and builds it into a daily practice that compounds over months into the hormonal and neurological profile of a man operating at his actual capacity. The link is in the description. The science is clear. The history is documented. The application is simple. The link is below. Now, go execute.